Well, welcome back, sports fans. Here we are, Seth and Sean Sports. Seth in I don't know where you are. I guess you're on your porch at this point.
Yeah, mine as well. I got a
Yeah,
couple more
I
weeks
mean,
of this, so might as well
good
enjoy it.
days. Yeah, absolutely. Seth and Sean Sports after our 2-week sojourn, I guess. Or do you have a Jets hat on?
I do. I was waiting to see
all-
how long it would take you.
That's
to
almost
recognize.
as likely as me wearing a Red Sox shirt. I mean, we're
It's actually my favorite hat. I just don't root for the team, so it doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. But it's comfortable as hell.
well, if you get me the style, I'll get one for Jake because he should have one because
No, he shouldn't. Nobody should have to be a Jets fan.
I'm not, in the New York area, I'm not sure that's true this year. I mean, we'll get to the NFL. We got a couple of weeks for the NFL.
We do.
Let's call it spade a spade. We have a couple of weeks.
This year. Forget this decade. Over the last 5 decades, has it really been fun being a Jets fan? Why should I?
Of course not. I mean, I said that. Look, I said this again this week. For those that are unaware, I am now employed, which is yay. Sean has a job. So, right, exactly. Which means we will either be doing this Wednesday at 5:00, which we're trying to figure out, or we'll be doing this Monday. And we haven't figured out which day will be the best day, but it'll be one of the two, and we'll post that. But I was telling somebody during orientation this week who happens to live in Southern Jersey. So I don't quite understand a Southern Jersey person rooting for Philly, but that's who they root for. So they're Eagles.
They all do. No, all.
I know. I don't understand it.
Why not? It's a suburb. They're all Philly suburbs.
Okay, so he was I don't know, lamenting with me the fact that I am a Jets fan going on as many decades as I am going on, and we're old. And we had the discussion once again, and this is an updated discussion year over year. How much would I spend if the Jets made a Super Bowl? What would be my budget to spend to go? So would you like to take a guess at my budget? Because I have one.
$5,000.
$5,000 won't even get me. $5,000 will get me nowhere. Let's think about this. No, this is for the whole weekend. This is not just for the game.
Okay. No, I would probably hotels probably $1,000 a night. Flights $700, give or take. Where's the Super Bowl?
Let's say I have to fly.
I would somewhere between $5,000 and $7,500.
Okay, so my upper budget is $10,000. That is my upper budget. That is something that my younger brother Jay and I have discussed. If the Jets make a Super Bowl, $10,000 is our budget, and that includes it all. Seth, I got to tell you, the hardest thing will not be the ticket to the game. I truly believe it will be the flight. Because when you are flying out of New York, the amount of money that people have in New York, you have full generations of Jets fans that have not seen a Super Bowl. You have full generations. You have almost a full generation that hasn't seen a playoff game. They haven't been in the playoffs in 14 years.
Wow. You guys stink.
They're tied with the Sabres for the longest drought for playoffs. So 14 years, I mean, look, Jake's never seen him in the playoffs. My nieces and nephews have never seen him in the playoffs, and they're turning 15 this year, and they've never seen him in the playoffs. I truly believe you have enough wealth in New York from all the Jets fans in the last 50 years that plane ticket from New York for my brother will be ridiculously expensive. For me, not so much. I'll fly from Atlanta, no big deal. And he may have to fly down to Atlanta to fly wherever we're going. I mean, man, it would be great if it was in the Mercedes Dome. That would be fantastic. But who knows? we were lamenting on that. But yes, I will be happy to get him that Jets hat if you would like. Well, not if you would like. I would like to get him the Jets hat. And
Okay,
and
so get him a Jets hat.
I
mean, it's not my preference.
okay.
But...
So in the last couple of weeks, we've had a couple of we've talked about this every month that more and more of our, I won't say heroes, I won't say idols. Idols is a bad word. What's the word I want to look for here? It's not heroes. It's not idols. Because I don't like titles.
No, it's the people we.
I mean, it's the people we grew up watching, but that's not a word, right? What's the word I'm looking for here?
It's not a contemporary.
In some ways, Hulk Hogan was an idol when we were at that age.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't call him an idol today, but certainly an idol growing up.
Well, there's a difference between Hulk Hogan and Terry Bollea.
That's true.
I don't think most people did not particularly admire Terry Bollea.
That's true
but
too.
The
imagination of what was Hulk Hogan was the idolistic person.
Right.
So we have the passing of Terry Bollea, aka Hulk Hogan, and we have the passing of the original number 23 in Chicago, and that is not Michael Jordan. That is Ryan Sandberg. And we'll touch upon each of these. I know you and I have discussed offline that you were not a Hogan guy. Nor was I. And I think part of it was, and I think this is why I became a Mets fan too, and a Jets fan. I wanted the underdog. I was always the guy that I didn't want to take, hey, everybody's rooting for this guy. I want to root for this guy too. Like that was never part of my childhood. So my favorite wrestlers were Ricky Steamboat and Tito Santana. And
nice.
the flying forearm was my favorite move. It wasn't, I never quite understood how a leg drop could be so devastating. But
no.
Right? I mean, there were so many greater moves. The sharpshooter from Bret the Hitman Hart, even the Iron Sheik's camel clutch, where you're kind of like, a leg drop? Really? That's going to do it? And so, I mean, I didn't have the fascination with Hogan that I think most of my contemporaries or friends did. But he was Michael Jordan before Michael Jordan.
He was charisma personified. Prior to him winning the title, you had Bob Backlund, who was the opposite of charisma. Then you had the Iron Sheik, who was a negative charisma. He had charisma, but as a bad guy, it didn't resonate.
Well, he was a heel, right?
Yeah, he was a heel. And then you brought in this 300-pound Venice Beach looking guy with 28-inch pythons who talked about, eat your vitamins, say your prayers, yada, yada. And he was what restarted the WWE, for lack of a better term. They in the mid 80s, it was more regional, and you had you had the NWA, you had World Class Championship Wrestling. The WWF, which is what it was at that point prior to the World Wildlife Federation suing them, didn't really have that much of a grip until Hogan came in and give or take 84, 85. He won the title in like 30 seconds, and it just kind of manifested from there.
Yeah, if you want to watch good documentaries, you can watch Mr. McMahon on Netflix, which was done by the Ringer, Bill Simmons. He put that together. Then you have the Dark Side of Wrestling, which
it's called Dark Side of the Ring.
Dark Side of the Ring, excuse me. Dark Side of the Ring, that's on Hulu. Both of which are tremendous. Chris Jericho does Dark Side of the Ring, by the way. That's his.
Yep, he's my all-time favorite. Yep.
He produces it. I mean, wrestling wasn't at its biggest in Hogan's era, in his prime, in the 80s. But without the 80s and without Hulk Hogan, you don't have wrestling in its prime. It doesn't exist.
No, it's the precursor for the evolution of WCW, which ironically really became massive when Hogan went over and became a heel at Bash of the Beach 96. But you didn't think I would know that. And with that led to the, what do you call it, the Stone Cold, they beat WWE for years.
From that came the Attitude Era.
Exactly, which is Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, Triple H, all those guys, which was about a 4 or 5 year run between the two organizations, maybe a 3-year run, where wrestling was just enormous.
Well, it coincided with you and I at the end of our college, early professional time, right? Which was, and part of that was, and this is just me recollecting, is the fact that cable TV, while popular in the early 90s, really became affordable in the late 90s. And satellite TV and pay-per-views and all those things that were, remember, in the early 90s, the only pay-per-view I ever watched was through the Scrambler, and I hope not to pay $49, $59, $69. And when you go to college and you have 5 or 6 guys that are pitching in to pay the $50, well, no big deal at that point. Let's watch it. Let's watch the Bash at the Beach. Let's watch SummerSlam. I won't say that we did not have a card that kind of unscrambled all the DirecTV pay-per-views. We might have had that my senior year of college. I'm not exactly statute of limitations. I think we're good. But
I think you're fine.
Yeah. It was like, okay, let's come over. And my nephew is playing. Caleb actually got an N64 the other day and started playing it. The GameCube, the N64 GameCube. And he was like, this thing's amazing. I was like, you have to get GoldenEye, buddy. If you get GoldenEye, we're all set. And so the guys in college, at least when I was first going to law school, the seniors and juniors in college, we would come over for like Monday night. We'd start playing GoldenEye at like 7 o'clock at night. At 9 o'clock, it would be Nitro and Raw, right? And then you order your pizza at like 9 o'clock for Raw and Nitro. And then you play GoldenEye until 1 in the morning when Nitro and Raw were over. And that was your Monday night.
Yeah, I didn't play GoldenEye, but the idea was the same. We'd order pizza, have a few beers, and then we would watch, and then we would go out because it was 11 o'clock and we were seniors in college. So why not?
Right. And especially on a Monday night, who cared? I mean, you only have a whole week of work to do, but whatever. Now Seth and I see Monday night, and we're like, only 4 more days. Only 4 more days. But, I mean, without Hogan, without Andre, I mean, look, you can't put Hogan in a class without Andre, right? Hogan doesn't make it without Andre in some way. WrestleMania 3, when Andre was slammed, that was really the beginning of wrestling as we know it today.
I don't know if that was it was what brought it most. It was the biggest thing to bring it into the mainstream.
Yeah. Well, you also had Mr. T, right? And Cyndi Lauper at that point, right? Those were how MTV, when MTV was MTV.
The MTV Rock and Wrestling, and then they had the cartoon, the wrestling cartoon.
Oh, and the Wrestling Buddies, right? The Wrestling Buddies. You had it was Cabbage Patch Dolls for wrestlers. We had those as well. You don't remember those at all, do you?
I do not.
They were about 2 feet tall. They were about that big. And I remember seeing the Hogan one. Let me see if I can pull it up. Excuse me. Hold on. Wrestling Buddy Hogan. Oh, there it is. Oh yeah. Hold on. Oh, yeah. Hold on a second. No, that was Macho Man. quick second. I'm pulling it up. This will work. Well, we're going to see if it works. Anyway, here are all the wrestling buddies. I can't figure out. Got a new computer.
While you
so
look
I'm
for
trying to
this,
figure
is this a
stuff
good
out. There we
time? While you look for this, is this a
Show
good time
this.
to remind you that the Mets are 2.5 games out of first place?
Nope, not a good time. Definitely not a good time. Here we go. Definitely not a good time. I did notice this morning what they were. Wrestling Buddy Hulk Hogan. So they had an NWO one, which I really didn't realize. I remember this one, the Hulk Rules one. You don't remember these at all?
Vaguely.
No? Vaguely?
No, vaguely.
All right.
I vaguely
I'm
remember.
going to jump
them now
off
that
for
you
a
said it
second.
to me.
Yeah, I got to jump off for a second. So continue going on.
I guess I need to talk. Do I really need to keep talking about Hogan? I mean, look, not too many people have peaks of 20, 25 years, or have popularity, I should say, of 20 to 25 years. And with him, even when he was bad, he would always bring out the biggest reaction. When he turns bad at Bash at the Beach and leads the NWO, they take over. They become bigger than the WWE. It becomes a monster. And eventually, they all transition back. He makes a good. He ends his career really as a fan favorite, although I don't think he expected it in the WWE. And then, unfortunately, he became kind of a caricature of himself. You know, the comments he made were not well received. The last time he was on WWE TV was in January, and he got massively booed, whether it was for Trump, whether it was for promoting the beer, whatever it was. And, you know, you never wish anyone ill, you know, especially upon their death. But he did not go out the way he probably foresaw it happening from a popularity standpoint. And I think that based on what I've understood, that probably took a pretty significant toll on him.
Did you realize that Netflix has WWE now? Because I sure as hell
Yes.
didn't. I had
Yes.
no idea. None.
Yeah.
None. No.
They
idea.
have WWE, and they just did a 6-part documentary on the kind of the back on it, which I actually watched part of, which was pretty good.
No, I might have to watch. I think that's what I was. Oh, besides the Mr. McMahon, they did something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just
I might
came
have to
out.
watch.
It's pretty good. I've watched some of it.
Well, I did want to point one thing out since you ripped into my 2.5 games that the Mets are behind. Have you noticed that your Yankees have dipped not only behind the Boston Red Sox and the Toronto Blue Jays, but they are only a game from being out of the playoffs at all?
I'm devastated.
Well, I think you should be. I mean, that's all part of it. That's why I'm wearing the Red Sox shirt. Because in June, the Red Sox were an 18% chance of making the playoffs, and now they are an 81% chance of making the playoffs.
And you know what Lucy said about your statistics, right? I'll take that as
to
a
the
no.
Moon? That's Ralph Cramden said to the moon.
Not that Lucy. First of all, that's Ralph Cramden from the Honeymooners.
Right.
I mean, Lucy from Charlie Brown. Pretty much, you can take all your statistics and shove them.
Okay.
There's 70 games left. I don't know how anyone can take a percentage seriously when there's 70 games left in a season.
Can I take a percentage?
I guess there's 50 games left now. So
okay,
I guess it's a little bit more reasonable.
We moved on to a little bit of baseball. We'll get to that. We'll discuss a little baseball here because we had the trade deadline, right? The Yankees supplemented themselves with 3 relief pitchers, one of which they sent down already. Yesterday.
Down to the minors already. Yep.
So I get the fact that there are only 50 games left. But if you're looking at this from a Yankees point of view and a Yankee fan point of view, where is your hope? Because I don't see it. And this is objectively. I don't see. You have Aaron Judge, who is a god amongst gods. No question. Before he got hurt, he was having a season that may have been rivaled by 3 players in Major League Baseball history. And I'm one that's not much for hyperbole when it comes to baseball stats in history. But he certainly had one that was rivaling Ruth and rivaling Williams and rivaling Musial. Like, that's where this was. Then he gets hurt. I don't see any other. They have no starting pitching. They have, except for Max Fried, who can't pitch 7 games. And he hasn't even pitched 7 innings in a game. Where do you see the light at the end of the tunnel, even if there's 50 games left? Because I don't see it. I only see the train going down.
There's only one light at the end of this tunnel. And it's very simple. It's the American League stinks. Other than Detroit, is there any team that really scares you? Carlos Correa going back to Houston doesn't scare you anybody.
No, but you still have to make the playoffs. And right now, I don't see you making them.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, look, I'm not going to get into a pissing match about it. I don't look. Did I think they were very good to start the year?
No, neither did I. Nobody.
I don't think I had them making the playoffs to start the year. So how shocked do you want me to be? Their hitters who they pay can't hit other than Judge. Their pitchers, and they brought in God knows how many over the years. I mean, Fried is excellent. Cole being out for the year is hard. And Cashman couldn't trade for a starter.
Yeah.
Because probably correctly, he wasn't going to trade Spencer Jones.
Is this the end of...
No, Cashman should have been gone 15 years ago. He's never going to leave. And they're never going to fire him because they would have done it already. It's just being stuck. It's just kind of being stuck with the guy who's just good enough to hold on to the job. They're never firing him. How long has he been their GM?
So right now,
30 years?
25 years.
He's been their GM, I believe, since they were winning in the late 90s. Correct? I think
it was 94, right? Because that's when Watson left. Was 94. He took over for Watson, right?
Correct. Give or take. Yeah, he served as the general manager and senior VP since 1998.
Okay.
So I'm just looking to see. But he's been with the Yankees since 1986.
Yeah.
So as the GM in 98, the teams that won the titles 98, 99, 2000, lost in 2001 to Arizona, lost in 2003 in Florida, were not built by him.
No, they're Bob Watson and Gene Michaels teams.
Correct. They're Gene Michael teams. So the only championship he has won in 27 years.
No. The only championship he bought because he didn't.
Correct.
He didn't. Yeah.
But he was the GM where it was a team that he put together.
Correct.
Was 2009 where they spent $500 million.
Yep.
And usually you would say that number is a joke, but I'm not in this case.
Not
and Alex Rodriguez, was a Mark Teixeira and AJ Burnett, if I remember correctly.
And CC.
No, it wasn't CC. CC wasn't there in 09.
Sure about that?
Pretty sure.
Maybe I'm wrong. Right. Now that I'm thinking about it, you may be right. Hold on. So 2009 Yankees. I did look this up last week. No, CC was there. CC, Burnett, Pettit, and Jabba were your top 4 starters.
Okay. He joined in 2009. My fault.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, because CC won 1 World Series, and that was his World Series.
That was it. Okay.
Yep.
So it was the year before. He joined in the year before. No, he joined it. Yeah. So actually, I forget. Maybe it wasn't Burnett that joined that year. Then I forget. I don't remember.
No, it was not Burnett. You had Burnett on that team as well. The thing is, you bought into that offseason or the offseason before. You bought in the following: Mark Teixeira, A-Rod, Johnny Damon, Nick Swisher, Hideki Matsui, CC Sabathia, AJ Burnett. Yep, those are your guys. I mean,
okay. So how much money did you spend on that? $1 billion?
I mean, I could look it up. I don't think you want me to. Yeah.
I don't care. I mean, Sean, you could have been the GM and bought that. There's no talent in that. So that team won the World Series. And we have been consistently good, but not great since.
Yep.
What GM keeps a job for 28 years and wins one championship? That's his. I mean,
Jerry Jones.
He owns the team. A little different. Little different. And that's an interesting pissing match, isn't it?
I'll get into that pissing match in a second, but we got to give your flowers, your kudos to CC, Ichiro, and Billy Wagner while we're here. It's a great segue.
You're okay with all three getting in?
Yes. Yeah. Well, look, Wagner is always going to be the hard one because the relievers are taken in a different vein of some sort, the same way DHs are. I am not. I know you should, in the big haul picture, and I know you're a small haul guy, but in a big haul picture, if you're going to start putting in relievers, Billy Wagner gets it. Okay? That's just the way it looks at it. If you're going to put in Trevor Hoffman, you put in Billy
if Sabathia gets in, if Pettit didn't have the PED, would he be in? Because I think if I remember
correctly, never won a Cy Young award.
Their numbers are incredibly similar.
Oh, their numbers are almost identical. But that doesn't mean that they're the same player.
No. But Pettit was a great big game pitcher.
Let me ask you this. Was Andy Pettit ever the number one pitcher on his team?
I don't know if that's a fair question. He
Why?
may have been for a year or two. Because some of the people he was number two to, pardon the pun, were among the best pitchers of their era.
So
Roger Clemens is a top 5 pitcher of our lifetime. Is there any argument about that?
Nope. None.
He was the number 2 to that.
Okay.
Whether he was the number 1 with Musina or Musina was the number 1 is kind of 56 of one, half dozen of another. Musina is a Hall of Famer.
He is.
So that he wasn't the number 1 pitcher doesn't particularly faze me. But to me, again, I'm a small hall guy.
So as the small hall guy, there's no way you put in Andy Pettit. Zero.
No.
Okay.
No,
Andy
but I also
Pettit
Sabathia is a better argument only because, and what have I talked about over the years? Were you one of the 2 or 3 best players at your position for a period of time?
That's what I'm saying. So So Cy Young awards, which we know are year to year, right? And take into account the best pitcher. So he was actually second in the Cy Young balloting in 1996, which I didn't realize.
I had no idea.
Yeah, he was second to Pat Henkin. And he actually was the number 1 pitcher on that team. He went 21-8. But hold on a second. So he gets to second in the Cy Young because we value wins, right? 21 wins led the league. Okay? But let's look at the peripherals here. A 3.87 ERA. Okay. That is his lifetime ERA. That's exactly what his lifetime is, 3.85. So right in line. Okay? His whip, a 1.362 in that year. I'm just talking about that year.
I understand.
That's the year the Yankees 96 lost to, I believe it was Seattle, right?
No, 96 they beat the Braves. 95.
Oh, so that's okay. So that's the year they won everything.
Yeah, that's the year they won it.
Okay. So he gets credit for team credit, right? I mean, basically, he's 72% winning percentage. Okay. Lifetime, 256 and 153, 62% winning percentage. Yeah, that happens when you're on the Yankees. A 3.85 ERA. That would be the highest in the Hall of Fame.
Higher than your boy Jack Morris?
3.75 is Jack Morris.
There you go.
Higher than my boy. His
I
whip.
thought his numbers with Sabathia were actually very close. I didn't realize they were that disparate.
Well, no, I think you're right in the fact that they are incredibly close. But CC was a workhorse. CC was the guy. CC went 16-1 over the course of the second half, which is insane.
That's when he got traded to Milwaukee, if I remember correctly.
CC was 3.74, by the way, 0.01 under Jack Morris. So that's where your discrepancy is. Your complete games, CC's got 38, Andy's got 26. I'm not going to go into shutouts. It really doesn't matter. ERA plus is 117 to 116. It's all about, to me, a period of dominance for CC, while there was no period of dominance for Andy Pettitte at any point.
Yeah.
Andy Pettitte is the modern day Don Sutton. Great teams.
The only difference I would say is Pettitte was higher thought of than Sutton, because although Sutton did win some titles, but I don't remember Sutton getting to see again. Sutton was also, his prime was before we were really, following. But Pettitte was known as such a big game pitcher. And a lot of that was predicated, I forget which series it was, when he won 1-0 in Game 5 of one of the World Series. I forget which one it was. But he was known as a big game pitcher. I don't know if Sutton was. Sutton was a compiler, if I remember correctly, because he was like 300 and 250 or something like that.
He was 324 and 256.
Wow. Oh, good call by me.
How about this? He completed almost 600 games.
He completed what?
He had 600 decisions. Almost 600. Like, definitely a different time, right? I mean, Don Sutton had pitched 5,282 innings. Andy Pettitte pitched 3,300.
Wait a minute. Did you just say that Don Sutton pitched 1,500 innings?
No, 5,200. 52.
Oh, I thought you said 1,500.
No, 5,200.
It's a very different era.
Very different eras. And if you look at the ERA plus, Pettitte's got it over Sutton. 117 to 108.
I compared the two. I am wondering who the one guy is who didn't vote for Ichiro.
You'll never get that.
No.
Doesn't matter.
But
it wasn't the one guy that didn't vote for him for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, but he came out and admitted.
Right, I'm saying it wasn't the same guy. It wasn't the same guy.
It was not.
Okay.
It was not.
And now we look at the one guy, Ichiro, obviously, more hits. He had 3,000 hits and he didn't start till he was 28, which is one of the most impressive things in baseball history. Billy Wagner, we touched upon a strikeout phenomenon as a relief pitcher. And then we come to Dave Parker. And Dave Parker is, by the way, of all the things I did not realize, and I know I pick up a cause every once in a while. Shocking, right? And my biggest cause was always Burt Blyleven. Always was.
I thought it was Tim Raines.
No, he was after Blyleven. Blyleven was always first. I didn't realize Blyleven's fifth all time in strikeouts. I had no idea.
I knew he was very high. I didn't know it was fifth, but I knew he was in the mid 3,000s, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So Dave Parker. Dave Parker is your epitome, Seth, of a prime, right? I had a prime where I was the best player in baseball, which he was. In the 77, 78, 79.
79. Yeah.
He was, I mean, I don't know. He was my next guy. I'm not sure who next would be. And during the Baseball Hall of Fame inductions, unfortunately, you get the news around that time of, unfortunately, the untimely death of Ryne Sandberg. And so you go, Ryne Sandberg, I always felt, was an underrated player because he was a second baseman. And second basemen don't get the flowers, don't get the credit that they deserve. And I went looking at his stats, and I'm like, this guy wasn't so great. I was like, he had like 283 home runs. What's so special about 283 home runs? And then you realize second baseman was a defensive position back then. Not 10 straight Gold Gloves. MVP. He won MVP with, I think, 23 homers in an era where homers were huge.
That was 1984, correct? He won it, I'm assuming?
Yeah. That's correct. But more importantly than that, he really was what the Cubs fans looked at as their guy, right? For so long. The Cubs had not been to a playoffs, and as a Jets fan, I can talk about this. In 1984, they hadn't been to the playoffs, Seth, in 39 years.
36 years. Yeah, I remember.
39. 1984, they didn't play.
And they lost to the Padres. They lost to the Padres in the divisional.
Yep, with Kirk Bavacqua. Kirk Bavacqua was the MVP of that championship series. So
I just know when Leon Durham dropped the ball.
Yep. Leon Durham.
That's what I said.
And Lee Elia goes nuts.
Yep.
So
you look at. Sorry, continue.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I don't find Sandberg particularly memorable, to be perfectly honest. I remember the great year in '84. I don't really remember. I mean, maybe it was because the Cubs really weren't very good for years afterwards.
Exactly.
So I have no great feel for Sandberg, to be perfectly honest. I know he was beloved in Chicago, but when I think of the greats at a position, I mean, when we do our top 10, the Sandberg position, does Sandberg even hit that? I guess he was the best of it. He was the best second baseman of his era in the National League before, I guess, Roberto Alomar. But I really don't remember anything overly memorable about Sandberg, to be perfectly honest.
But here's the thing, Seth. So two things. Number one, you're right. You're not from Chicago, so hence people from Chicago know much more about him as you do about Bernie Williams.
No, it felt to the feelings that Chicago seemed to have about Sandberg is kind of similar to forgetting that the streak, the feelings that people in Baltimore had about Ripken.
100%. 100%.
Where in Baltimore he was a god. To non-Baltimore, and I went to Maryland not during the end. I don't even say it was his prime, but when he broke the record, I was sitting in my fraternity house. And it felt to a lot of us like he was just kind of hanging on to break the record.
He was.
He was a nice player. He was a good player at that point, but he was nothing special by the mid-late 90s. Right,
but that's most Major League Baseball players that are holding on for something, right?
Yeah, but he was. If you lived in Maryland, just like I'm sure if you lived in Chicago or lived in Illinois, Sandberg was a top 3 or 5 second baseman of all time. If you lived in Maryland, Ripken was the number 2 behind Honus Wagner. I don't think anyone really thinks that outside of that area.
So Sandberg made 10 straight All-Star games. That's not to say that he was the best player for 10 straight years, but he had 3 top 5 MVP finishes.
Okay.
He won the Gold Glove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Enough
8,
that he was enough times.
9 straight times. And second base, as you and I have talked about over the years, is an underappreciated position. Right. It just is. Yeah. So if you're thinking off the top of your head, the top 10 second basemen, okay, if we're taking out, we're starting in 1920. Okay, let's just start at 1920 because
we don't need to start. We don't need to start.
Dead ball era doesn't work. So let's start with Rogers Hornsby. Let's just start with Rogers Hornsby. Okay, there's your first guy. Charlie Gehringer is probably in there. Joe Morgan. Roberto Alomar.
Yep.
Okay, give me more. Seriously, give me more.
Okay. Would you put Carew as a second baseman?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
Would
this
you
is
take him?
this is
Okay.
the problem with second baseman in
Would
general.
you take him over Craig Biggio?
We'll put Biggio there. 5.
Would you take him over Frankie Frisch? Or too hard a call?
Too hard a call.
Would you take him over Jose Altuve?
Yes.
Would you take him over Jackie Robinson? No.
Yes, because Jackie just...
Unless you're going to say because Jackie played third a lot of the
Yeah,
time.
Jackie just wasn't there long enough. So, yeah.
Okay. I'm trying to think who else. Okay, maybe.
I mean, I'm here are the... And you know I love doing this for similarity scores, right? Similarity scores for second baseman and shortstops. Here is top Lou Whitaker. I take him over Lou. Lou didn't have an MVP. Ian Kinsler, yes.
Better
Chase
than Ian
Utley,
Kinsler.
yes. Better Bobby Doerr, yes. Carlos Baerga, yes. Edgardo Alfonso, yes. I mean,
okay, but other than Bobby Doerr, who was voted in by the Veterans Committee because he was the most beloved player of his era, are any of the guys you just mentioned Hall of Famers?
Okay, so I just put into ChatGPT the top 10 second basemen of all time. Okay? Ryan Sandberg is number 7. Okay, according to ChatGPT. Here are the top 10. Rogers Hornsby, we talked about.
Agreed.
Joe Morgan is the best second baseman of all time that played after 1920.
Agreed.
Okay. Eddie Collins. I have no concept of Eddie Collins. None. If you played with the Black Sox, I don't need to talk to that. You're just where you are. They actually have Jackie Robinson as number 4. Okay.
Yeah, Jackie Robinson to me was predominantly a second baseman. So that
Roberto Alomar is number 5. We discussed it.
He was a better player.
Nap LaJoy, who I can never pronounce his last name, but is number 6, and he played in the 1910s. So again, not going to have that discussion. Ryan Sandberg is number 7. Charlie Gehringer is I'm just going to tell you the other 3, and you tell me if any of these are over him. Charlie Gehringer, maybe.
I would think so, but again, it's 1930s. It's hard.
He had 2,800 hits. Okay.
He also hit 390 one year.
Jeff Kent's not better than Ryan Sandberg. Jeff Kent's a better offensive player than Ryan Sandberg.
Better offensive player, nowhere close to a better defensive player, and much less beloved as a teammate. Fine.
And Lou Whitaker's number 10. And that's it.
Okay. I would have first of all, I would have Altuve over both Kent and who you just mentioned. I forgot. But yeah, no, I get it. Okay. As I said, I didn't have a major problem with him in the Hall of Fame because again, he was the best player of his era at his position. I always felt that he was embellished, that his, whatever you want to call it, or is not the right word, but because he was in a hub where there was nobody else,
sure.
He was just beloved in that hub, that his reputation to a degree, he seemed like a really understated guy.
Yeah.
But the reputation that I guess he had, I thought was bigger than probably, but maybe not.
And
why don't we do quickly? Sorry.
Hold on. I want to give you some props here. ESPN did the same top 10. Number 10 was Robinson Cano, which I think this was probably done before his drugs, whatever, his PEDs.
Okay.
But number 5 was your Rod Carew. So they pushed. Jackie was number 2, ahead of Joe Morgan.
Jackie's not a better player than Joe Morgan. Jackie's not a better player than Joe Morgan.
No, Joe Morgan's an underappreciated player, and
correct,
because he played on a team that
Joe Morgan was the best player on possibly the best team of the last 60 years.
Yeah,
I mean, you could make a legitimate argument that the 75 and 76 Reds, are as good as any team since the 61 Yankees.
That's right.
And you could probably make an argument against them as well. So I'm going to give this to you. So
Okay.
the next five Hall of Fame ballots, and I'll be honest, they're not very strong.
Oh, you got a list of these, right? Because I don't have it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
So
who are the holdovers first?
So the holdovers: Manny Ramirez,
No.
Andrew Jones,
Nope.
Andy Pettit.
Nope. So there are no
Yeah,
holdovers.
there's no big holdovers here.
Okay, so let's go to the new ones.
This feels incredibly weak to me. 26th ballot, Cole Hamels.
No.
Good pitcher, but good pitcher. That's it. Ryan Braun.
Definitely not. PEDs.
Yep.
He'll get into the Hall of Fame for the best excuse for a PED ever. That the FedEx envelope thing was awesome.
Yep.
Anyway,
he makes the Jewish Hall of Fame.
okay.
Edward Encarnacion, Matt Kemp, Nick Markakis,
Nope.
and Hunter Pence. I think we
Wow,
can safely
that
say
is weak.
Yep. So if there's
Pettit
a year
may get in.
What'd you say?
If there's a year Pettit and Andrew Jones are going in,
This is
maybe
it.
next year.
27 ballot. Buster Posey.
Yes.
I agree. I just don't think he's a high first ballot Hall of Famer.
No, but again, where are we comparing him to?
Joe Mauer.
Okay.
Is the logical comparison, and Mauer got in the first.
No,
ballot.
I mean on your ballot, where are you comparing him to? Who else are you saying? If you're saying no to him, you're probably saying yes to somebody else. They're not saying yes to anybody else at this point. So
there's nobody here.
Okay.
Jay Bruce,
Who else
Kyle
we got?
Seager, John Lester. I mean,
Lester will get some votes. Lester will get some votes. Lester's got over 220 wins, I think. Lester will get some votes.
Yeah, but Lester is nowhere near a Hall of Famer. Lester is in the very good.
By the way, you know who John Lester? I would bet you John Lester is 200 and 117. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Never won a Cy Young. I know that for a fact. I am very interested to put him next to Andy Pettit and see where that rolls. But anyway, okay, continue on. What else do we got?
There's nobody else for 27.
Okay.
28, Pujols. No
Yes.
brainer.
Yep.
Yadier Molina.
Yep.
He gets in. I'm not sure if he's a first ballot, but he gets in.
He gets in.
Robinson Cano. Nope. David Price.
Nope.
Steven Strasburg. No. 29.
Wait,
Mickey
so we
Cabrera.
got three definites. Well, you don't think Yadi's a definite, but I'll say
I
three.
think Yadi gets in. I don't think Yadi's a definite first ballot.
Okay, so we're saying 3 Hall of Famers in the next 4 years. Is that where we're up to?
Yeah, this is the last one.
This is 4 years or 5 years away?
This is 29.
It's 4 years away.
4 years
Okay.
away. Miggy Cabrera.
Yes. Not dynamite Hall of Famer.
Agreed.
Yep.
Zach Greinke.
That'll be an awesome conversation.
I think he gets in.
Me too.
But I don't think he's a first ballot.
He's one of those speeches I will absolutely pay attention to because it may
Yes.
be 5 words. Thank you very much to everyone. And he may just walk away.
Yep. Joey Votto.
Yes. Joey Votto is going to be the litmus test of on-base percentage versus batting average. He's the new one. He's the litmus test of sabermetrics. That's where he's going to wind up being. Joey Votto is absolutely a Hall of Famer.
Okay.
He's got a 63.6 WAR. And again, WAR is not everything. We discussed this, right? if you want to look at similarity scores, it's Todd Helton, Paul Goldschmidt, Matt Holliday. Those are your three guys. One Hall of Famer. Goldschmidt may make the Hall of Fame.
Goldschmidt, I think, is going to make the Hall of Fame. Goldschmidt was the best in his position for several years.
So Joey Votto, 3 times an MVP top 5 candidate, won, finished second once. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 All-Star games. Batting, you can't look. He's the guy that advanced stats with walks. It's all about on base percentage with him.
He had an on base percentage over 400.
His OPS for his career is over 900.
Yep.
I don't know how he doesn't go in. He is a guy that continually was just on bad teams. He's like the Ryan Sandberg of first baseman. I mean, right? I mean,
I will say, though, this ballot is interesting. So here are the other names.
Okay.
Adam Wainwright.
No. No chance.
No chance?
No chance.
Evan Longoria.
Really good player. Like, really good player. But Adam Wainwright finishes with 200 wins and 128 losses and a 3.53 ERA. If Pettit's not getting in, this guy ain't getting in. And to me, Pettit was a better player than him. He finished although 4 Cy Young top 5 finishes.
Yeah. Wainwright had a really, really good career.
He had a good 5-year stretch where he goes 19-8, 20-11, 14-13, 19-9, and 20-9, and then gets hurt. 3 All-Star games kind of holds it. He had a really, really short run of greatness. And I'm not even sure you're dealing with greatness. I mean, it was goodness. Anyway, I mean, the interesting one at the end of all this, Seth, and we'll be talking about this 8 years from now, is Jake DeGrom. He will be an amazing conversation, especially if he wins a Cy Young this year.
Does he have a chance to beat out
Scoble? Well, let's say he's in the top 5 this year, which he will be. Right now, he probably is number 3. He's got back-to-back Cy Youngs, and that will be his 4th top 5 outside of winning the 2.
That's sick. That's really sick.
But here are your lifetime
we
stats
had this discussion
on Jacob.
We had this discussion 3 years ago driving to my office.
Yeah.
Does he even have 120 wins?
No, he has 94 wins.
Yeah.
He has 94 wins. His ERA for his lifetime is 2.55. He's got a 45 WAR. Okay? 45. He is 37 years old. That's the other thing. He's 37. He's only got 94 wins. His similarity scores are to like Satchel Paige. Like, because that's the only guy that you can do it. And if you look at his leaderboards, I mean, it's uncanny how well he has played in the time that he has played. The problem is he just hasn't played enough. And I think that will be an amazing discussion that we will have in 5, 6, 7 years. I mean,
he is 94 and 61. That is amazing.
94 and 61.
I'm looking back.
Yep.
I'm just kind of looking back here. So
he's got 6 All-Star games. If he finishes the top 5 this year in Cy Young, he has a Cy Young win, a Cy Young win, a Cy Young 3, a Cy Young 7, a Cy Young 8, and a Cy Young 3 in a 10-year period.
He's won 15 games once.
Here's the question. Where is he? You know, I'm going to do this comparison because I think it's the only one I can come up with. You want to take a guess who that guy is? There's only one guy that I can think of.
In baseball, we talking baseball?
Yeah, but he's nowhere close, actually. He's much better.
Koufax?
Tim Lincecum.
Interesting.
Tim Lincecum's WAR was 19.5. Jake DeGrom's is 47.6.
How is Tim Lincecum's 19.5? He won like 3 Cy Youngs.
Yeah, but his ERA is 3.74. He won 2 Cy Youngs.
Okay.
And his walk, he walked a lot of play. He walked twice as many as Jake already. If you want to put him next to Koufax, and I'm happy to do that, I think we're going to be – I think he's going to get blown out of the water, but we can do it.
No, because Koufax was the best pitcher of – he had an 8-year career for all intents and purposes. He was the best pitcher in baseball 6 of the 8 years. I thought that was where you were going.
Color me a little shocked. Koufax WAR over his career is 48.9. Jake DeGrom's is 47.6.
The problem is, does 50 get you to a Hall of Fame? A WAR of 50 for a pitcher? I don't know.
It doesn't. Historically, it does not. But the difference is Sandy Koufax had 1 MVP, an additional Cy Young, 4 additional ERA titles. He won the triple damn crown 3 times for pitching. Sandy Koufax is he's Sandy Koufax. That's right.
I'm looking at similar pitchers.
To Koufax or to DeGrom?
Yeah, for DeGrom.
Oh, I already did that.
With Satchel Paige. It's
Satchel Paige.
Yeah.
All right. We are at 6:00. This has been a tremendous conversation. It's one that I got to tell you, I looked up and it said 6:00, 5:57. I was like, we can do this for another hour without any issue. But that'll have to be next week. We do have college football we have to start talking about. Believe it or not, we are at August 6th. So next week we'll start talking about a little bit about college football.
I think we got a week to go because we got August 13th, August 20th, August 27th.
Yeah, but you're gone one of those weeks. You're always gone one of those weeks.
No, we're going away the 22nd through the 26th. I'll be back.
Okay. All right. So we'll do next week. We have free. Then we have college. Hold on. Oh, yeah, you're right. So next week we will figure it out either Monday or Friday or this time on Wednesday. We'll let you guys know. The week after is college. The week after is fantasy. And the week after is opening day, which is for the NFL season.
Oh, there you go.
We're almost there, buddy. We're almost there.
I know. I'm not in any rush.
Gamins, I'm Sean Palmer. Go Mets. Go Sox. And
thank you for the memory, son. We appreciate it. Good luck at LAFC.
There you go. We'll talk to you later. Adios, amigos. As soon as I can find out how to turn this off. There we go.